Greetings, my name is Julian, and this is a video about the Bonnaroo Music and Arts Festival. Specifically, what we're going to be looking at today is getting to, getting in, setting up, and getting out of Bonnaroo. When I went to Bonnaroo in June of 2015, I was a first-timer. I looked for a ton of information on the internet, trying to get my head wrapped around what to expect. Bonnaroo is a massive event of about 80,000 people, so it's a little bit bigger than your average grocery store. As I was researching it, I found a lot of really good information, but I also was not able to find some other information. And my hope with this video is to help first-timers who are going to Bonnaroo maybe this coming year in 2016, help them to understand about what they can expect as they're driving in. I intend to make some additional videos in the future about some other bits and pieces of Bonnaroo, but this is kind of going to be specific to getting there and such and so forth. This first section is what I'm calling the Road to Manchester. And essentially what I want to do is point out some features about the farm and kind of orientate you to the location. So what I've got here on the screen is a map that I was given when I arrived, and then the tattered shape of it is because it was well used. But as you can see here on the west side of the farm, you've got Interstate 24, which runs basically from Nashville to Chattanooga, almost. The Manchester is about an hour south of Nashville, give or take. So what you can see on the map is there are some various toll booths, and you've got these different toll booths around that you actually use to enter the farm from. The map, unfortunately, isn't very good at showing additional roads and how you actually get to some of these places. But that's okay, because what you'll find is everything is going to be very well marked. I came from Nashville and drove south on Interstate 24. And what I found was a number of, as you approach Manchester, you see along the road a number of dot matrix signs, and these dot matrix signs, let you know basically where you need to go. So with those dot matrix signs, they're going to direct you to the correct toll booth. Now, access to Bonnaroo is very well controlled, and there's a large police presence in the entire state of Tennessee around this time, but specifically along in this general vicinity. And so as you drive down Interstate 24, what you'll see along the way, there'll be a number of off-ramps, and you'll see at least one or two police cruisers at every off-ramp, and they control the flow of traffic in this area. You'll see a lot of signs by the exit ramps which say local traffic only. And also, too, kind of when you get down here, you might find maybe you're coming down this way and you think, oh, well, here's the highway toll booth, so I'll just, pop in that way. But what happened to me is by the time I got down here, they had actually closed this exit temporarily, and we're routing traffic all the way down around, and I actually entered in through the east toll booth over here. And they do that really to control traffic as they come in, because where you camp, if you're general admission and you're not group or VIP or RV or something like that, if you're just general admission, then where you camp depends on two things: when you get there and which toll booth that you come through. So I came in through the east toll booth, which is over here on the east side of the map, and I sat in traffic for about 3.5 hours, and I think I actually got to my campsite by about 11:30. And my campsite was actually way out here in Camp Peter Griffin, actually way over here, which actually wasn't too bad because, yeah, it was a good long walk way down here to the center. But the nice thing about being up there was the only people that were there were people who were camped there, so it was nice and quiet actually. So another thing just to kind of mention about police, there is a large police presence in the area. And so, if you do get pulled over on your way, just make sure to be yes sir, no sir, and as polite as possible, and that'll probably help you out. One thing to note about opening gates were I arrived on Thursday, which is when most people do. However, what you'll probably see on the website is a reference to the gates opening up, or the toll booths opening up sometime on Wednesday. If I remember correctly, they were advertised as opening up on like 8 p.m. On Wednesday evening. However, I found out later that the actual toll booths were opened up by 5 o'clock on Wednesday evening. So it's entirely possible that if you want to take a chance and drive down on Wednesday evening, you might actually be able to get in earlier and maybe actually secure one of these more centralized camping areas. And also to kind of just point out some of the different areas. Most of these areas, which are kind of outlined in a yellowy gold, those are sort of general admission camping. You also have some VIP RV parking. You've got some VIP area with their own little special toll booth. There's tent-only camping, which is right here, and it's very convenient to the entrance. You've got some handicap parking camping as well. Group camping is up here. Group camping is for large groups of people. I think this sells out pretty quickly. So if you're a large group of people and you want to camp together, this might be a good suggestion for you. And then there's some additional RV parking over here. And then of course you've got the Bonneroo, which is right here, and that's where all the musical action takes place. Some other areas that are in the map here, I think I'll point those out in future videos, but that kind of takes care of it for right now. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is actually arriving at the toll booth itself. So in this section of the video, I'm going to be talking about arriving at the toll booths themselves. So whenever you come off the interstate, you'll find yourself in a single file line like this here. And oh yeah, I'm going to be using some miniatures here to kind of help demonstrate and help you to visualize kind of what you'll be seeing as you come into the toll booth area. So the self-explanatory part is you're in a line like this, and you kind of move along really slowly, and so forth. So that part's kind of very self-explanatory. It certainly is. When you actually come to the toll booths themselves, what you'll see, and I haven't been through all the toll booths, so they all may vary just a little bit in their configuration, but the toll booths themselves, up front, what you'll find are a large number of tents all in a line. They're the kind of the pop-up tents that you see. There's probably going to be anywhere from 12 to 15 of these across the way. So what they do is you come in a single file line, and then they direct you into the toll booth waiting area. And it kind of looks like this a little ways, where you have people lined up, and they've got them all lined in this way. And so they kind of direct you in, and they might direct you here, or they might direct you over here, maybe back here, for example. And so, or actually right there, perhaps. But anyway, so you get in this kind of holding pattern right here, and as you're waiting your turn, what you'll see is that, and I'm saying a lot, and I apologize for that. What you'll see at every line, there are going to be at least two people who are there checking cars. And what their job is to search your vehicle for any kind of prohibited items. And you'll find a list of the prohibited items on Bonnaroo's website. So please don't bring any of that stuff with you. You'll see things like glass, tiki torches, all kinds of things I saw actually confiscated while I was waiting to be searched myself. But the guys and the people that are working here are really nice. Try not to hassle them too badly. Don't be a dick, basically, is my advice to you whenever you're here. I know you might want to bring some stuff in, and they're just going to be like, no, so don't worry about it. As you're here waiting, your car will eventually be searched, and then you'll get up to each of these tent areas. And when you get up there, that's when the person will scan your wristband. They'll also give you a little guide, which has all kinds of information in it. You'll also get one of these maps as well of the whole venue. And that's what kind of happens here. After your car's been searched and you've gotten through this part of it, they'll bring you through and they'll put everybody back into a line like this. Now, it's important to kind of point out at this point that what happens sometimes, there will be people in multiple cars that are traveling together. And when you're in this kind of configuration, you kind of get distributed out randomly. So your group isn't going to be in a nice, nifty little line. You're going to have somebody here, somebody's going to be here, somebody's going to be over here. You're going to have folks in different lines. So it's going to make things a little bit more complicated later whenever you get to the actual campground area. So you might be together, but you might not. So if you're thinking about going as a group, you may want to consider going to the group camping area, which actually does guarantee that you can kind of clump together in a nice little group. So here you might find that one of your party is up here, whilst another one of your party is back here, for example. So then as you come through, they've got you in a single file line like this here, and so they put you into a single file line, and then they snake you through the campground, the whole area, and take you and lead you to where they want you to camp. So where you camp in the farm really depends on when you arrive and what toll booth that you come through. So for example, in my case, I actually came through the East toll booth, which is way over here, and I actually camped in Peter Griffin, which is just about off the map. So that's where I ended up. I got to my campground probably about 11:30 is when I got there, and that was on Thursday. So if you're camping in a group, you need to keep those things this kind of stuff into consideration when you get here. So the next thing that I'm going to talk about is actually going to be the campground, the camping area itself. So that's what's going to be the next section. So whenever you snake your way through the farm and they take you to your respective camp area, the way that I noticed that the majority of the campsites were set up, they're going to be set up in this way. And so hopefully you all can kind of see this. But they bring you in this way. And so they'll have a line of cars that get lined up like so. Yeah. And then they'll tell these folks, okay, you guys are going to be camping behind your vehicle. And so you have a space behind your vehicle that they would like you to camp in. It's not really marked, but you get the idea. Then what they'll do is they'll bring in, once they have the row filled, then they'll start bringing in other folks. And they'll leave a space here. And so they'll bring the folks in like so. Let me kind of turn it this way. Maybe you can see a bit better. But they'll bring you in, and then they'll tell these guys, okay, you guys are going to be camping in front of your vehicle. Like that. And so you end up with a row of cars, 2 rows of tents, and then another row of cars. They will then leave a space here, and the space here and on the ends is so that people actually can back out and drive off if they want to. And then they'll have another row of cars, which looks like this, basically. I did see in a couple areas that there were some places where people were actually in a row and then they were camped off beside their vehicle. I didn't see a whole lot of that, but I did see that occasionally. But most of the campground areas were set up in this fashion here. So once the ushers bring you in and they get you sort of sorted, as it were, once they leave, then it's kind of open season, as it were, and you are able to kind of move around a bit. So if a person wants to back their vehicle up and they want to give themselves a little bit more room, they can do that. The folks on the ends, in many cases, have the capacity to come way out here, and they can really make a big space for themselves if they want to do that. When you get here and you pull your car in, it is vitally important that you get out of your vehicle and set up your campsite as quickly as possible. It really is a mad dash. I mean, people are frantically out grabbing space. You will find that some folks will actually hog some additional space and kind of cut you out just a wee bit. So that will happen. Most people are really cool. I didn't really see anybody that had any arguments or any problems, but I will say there were some folks that had a little bit more space maybe than others. I would say that on average, what you're looking at is about a 10 by 10 or a 12 by 12 general space for you to set up your stuff in. And as I said, some people ended up with a little bit more room than others. I ended up sharing a good bit of space with the folks next to me. It was fine. They were really cool people, so it didn't bother me all that well. The folks to the other side of me, they really didn't have a whole lot of space at all. It was kind of unfortunate how they had their campsite set up, but they didn't seem to mind because they didn't spend a lot of time at their campsite other than just sleeping. So that's the really important part, is whenever you get here, you will have to frantically put your shit out quickly. I was by myself, so it was a little bit more difficult. However, if you have a couple people in your party, it makes things a little bit easier because you can give everybody a job and assign stuff to people, and you can really throw your stuff out really, really quickly. It can make things a little bit easier grabbing space and making things a little bit more comfortable if there's more than just one or two persons. So that's something to keep in mind. I would encourage you to practice setting up your tent and your space. Figure out how you want to pack your car so that you can actually gain access to your tent. You don't want it in the very back of your trunk as you're trying to pull your shit out to get this stuff. So if you can practice throwing out your tent and whatnot, that would probably make your life a little bit easier, I think, actually. So just kind of keep that in mind as well. The last thing that I want to talk about also is leaving Bonnaroo itself, because unfortunately the party's got to end at some point. But what you will find, and this kind of surprised me a little bit, but actually what you will find is a number of people will actually leave before noon on Sunday. It's kind of surprising, but they actually do. So the camping areas will kind of empty out to an extent on Sunday itself. Now, I stuck around and I did not leave early on Sunday. I stuck around till the end. I did see Billy Joel perform, and it was a really, really great performance. It certainly was. But I do know that there were a number of people who had not left during the day, but had decided they wanted to leave Sunday night after the last performance. What I can say is that does seem to be a very popular decision, so you will see a pretty good exodus of campers at that time. Depending on where you are camped and how close you are to an exit, how fast you can get from the Bonneroo to your vehicle breakdown and whatnot, that's going to kind of govern how quickly you can get moving and how far ahead you can get. So depending on how quick you move, you might do very well, or you may end up in a good bit of traffic Sunday night if you do intend to leave Sunday night. My plan actually was to leave Monday morning, so that's what I did. And I found that I woke up about 5 o'clock on Monday morning, broke down my tent in about an hour, and I was able to get on the road by 6. Now, my experience was very pleasant in that I was actually camped in Peter Griffin, so I was really, really close to the Eastern toll booth, so it wasn't a very difficult process for me to leave. I didn't have any traffic. I didn't have any problems. I was able to get out very quickly. And that kind of brings up a point about this whole thing, is that, you know, your experience may actually be very, very different than what I've just described. You could sit in traffic for maybe 30 minutes going in and coming out. You may actually end up sitting in traffic for quite a lot longer, depending on circumstances. You know, where you camp is going to have a lot of factors in getting in and getting out. So you may find that the results may vary, which is what I'm trying to say. So that's kind of what I'm trying to get at there. I really hope that you got a lot of information out of this video. I really hope that you do decide to go to Bonnaroo. It's a really awesome experience. It was something that I didn't know that I would like, but I really enjoyed it, and something that I would really like to go do again in the future. So hope to see you there in the future, and I hope you really enjoyed my video. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments. And thank you very much for watching.